This is the Apos X Community Druid, a fully balanced R2R DAC coming in at just $160. Today, we'll be looking at what makes this DAC special. We're going to be going over my impressions of it, and we'll also be taking a look at those swappable op amps, and I'm going to be doing some of these op amps that I actually haven't seen anyone do before. So stay tuned for that. Let's jump into it. Alright, so what do we get with the Druid? Well, first and foremost, you get the DAC, of course. You also get the op amp remover tool. You get 3 op amp lifts. You get one 3.5mm RCA adapter, if you decide to run single-ended. 3 Texas Instruments LM4562 op amps. And last but not least, a fun, albeit corny manual written in ye old style. Alright, here we have the technical specs for the Druid, everything ranging from frequency response, signal-to-noise ratio, distortion, separation degree, all very technical specifications here. One that will affect real life more than anything is that it does only have USB input, so if you're looking for something that has more inputs than that, this does not have that, so just please be aware of that. All right, so let's talk about how the Apos Druid sounds. I think it sounds pretty great, but what makes it great? I believe as DACs go, it has a 3D presentation to the sound. It's warm, and it is a lot less, significantly less fatiguing than what I'm coming from. What am I coming from? Shit Modi SE. I have also used a Shit Modi, and I've used Shit Modi multi-bit, but I'm mainly comparing it to my balanced Modius. So when it comes to the Delta Sigma, we have a very clean, precise presentation of sound. And when we're talking about the Druid, we have a more spatial, airy sound. With all the detail, it's just less fatiguing. So when I think of how the sound is presented on my Modius, on the Delta Sigma, it's like, it's closer and it's defined and it's like this to me. Whereas with the Druid, things start moving more, there's more places, there's more coordinates for the sound to come from, it feels like, which is really cool. And what I was looking for, it's different. It's a different kind of sound. So if that's what you're looking for, then this definitely delivers that. One thing I will say, compared to my Delta Sigma, the DAC isn't completely silent. And I have to say, I did encounter a bit of an anomaly at first, where the Druid was giving off an electrical buzzing noise that randomly went away after a day. But what the DAC does do as an R2R compared to my Delta Sigma is it does actually have a higher noise floor. And when I have my A70 Pro, I'm running the DAC into an IUMA T20 for tube stage into an A70 Pro on high gain with very power hungry headphones in the HE6SC V2s and the Dan Clark Audio E3s with crazy bass EQs. So I have to crank a lot of power. So I don't need to crank so much power that I can hear the hiss, but I will say that on high gain, at the knob turned all the way on the A70 Pro, I can hear a hiss, whereas I can't on a Delta Sigma. Now, you will never hear that when you're listening at levels that won't make you go completely deaf. And this is a very edge case where I need to drive this much power. So you will probably never run into this. But if you're the type of person where that will bug you forever, just knowing that that's there, just be aware of that. It is definitely not that big of an issue, and like I said, I'm an edge case running very power-hungry headphones with aggressive EQs, so you're likely not to run into that situation. And the cool thing about the Druid, though, is that if you don't like the stock sound or you want to change the stock sound, you have that option with the op amps. So I want to take a look at the op amps in our next section because I did a little fiddling with those as well. These little devices you see here are the Druid's op amps, or operational amplifier. This is a small integrated or a discrete circuit depending on what type of op amp you get. And they really do help shape and amplify the analog signal, which should in turn change the sound. The Druid ships stock with the LM4562 op amp, which is a Texas Instrument 2006 op amp, and it's well respected, very well known, sounds phenomenal. I've been using it for the past couple days. I love it. But I did want to try and switch out the op amps, because really this is an incredible DAC as it is, but the main feature of this is that you can roll these op amps out. And I also think that it's kind of cool that you can change the sound, so I want to check that out. So I got the OPA 1656, a 10 years newer Texas Instruments op amp, and I've heard that they sound a little smoother, maybe slightly more spacious, but we'll see what my ears hear, and I'll report back to you guys after some testing. And there's also a little extra thing that I want to do with these. All right, so tested the OPA 1656s, and now I will share my impressions of it. Compared to the stock op amps, it provides an improvement in sound across the board. There was not one thing that the OPA 1656 did worse to my ears than the stock op amps. We get more air. We get still a very nice, smooth, warm sound. I do believe that bass is cleaner sounding. Maybe a little bit more impactful. The difference isn't exactly like what I would call night and day, but it's worth what you pay for what the OPA 1656 is. You can swap in other op amps. There are more expensive. There are discrete solutions. There's the Sparkos, the Bursons. There's also, I don't believe they're discrete, but there are surface mounted from Virtual Hi-Fi, the supersonic V2s. I'm very interested in those. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. But here's my thing. The OPA 1656, for a low price, you can get them for $10 to $15, depending on where you get them, will improve the sound. And when you're looking at getting two supersonic V2s into America, you're looking at two €44 devices if you're running balanced, plus €20 shipping. It's about $120. So you have to ask yourself, am I willing to spend almost the price of the DAC on rolling op amps? That's up to you. We're audiophiles at the end of the day. I'm an audiophile. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not going to probably spring for something like that in the future. But for someone who wants to play around with a swappable op amp feature but doesn't want to completely break the bank, the OPA 1656 definitely strikes a balance between improvement of sound and affordable price. Now, here's the thing. A lot of the exotic op amps look pretty sweet. I really am drawn to the supersonic V2s. I have a blue kind of theme going with my setup, and seeing as this thing is clear, you can see the heat sinks on the op amp, so you can admire it from your desk while you're listening. And I honestly feel like that everyone knows that makes stuff sound better. So I was like, what can I do? So I went ahead and I bought some heat sinks for Raspberry Pi, and I slapped them on top of the OPA 1656s. And as mom always said, we have McDonald's at home. Well, you know what? We have Virtual Hi-Fi supersonic V2s at home as well. Now, not to discredit, they probably don't sound as good. Obviously, they definitely don't look as cool. But if you want to get a little bit of aesthetic mod going, this isn't such a bad route. So yeah, we'll show you what those look like. So, who is the apos Druid for? This is for someone that's looking for an affordable DAC that has balanced outputs, that doesn't care that it's only USB input, that wants to try an R2R DAC, that wants swappable op amps. Now the last two, you don't even need to want those. You don't even need to be looking for an R2R DAC. You don't even need to be looking for swappable op amps, because for $160, this thing sounds great. And this thing doesn't even sound great just for $160. This thing sounds as good as, I've used DACs as expensive as $300. I don't have the craziest experience in the world as it comes to listening to extremely expensive gear. But what I can tell you is this thing sounds better to me, than any DAC that I've ever used. So if you're somebody that's looking to try something different than Delta Sigma, if you're looking for something to tinker with, if you're looking for something that's cool to look at, and boy does it look cool. It looks cooler in person than it even looks in the photos. The glass is just beautiful. It's supreme looking. There's glowing green LEDs on the bottom that you can decide to choose to turn on or off. I wish that they could be other colors, but beggars can't be choosers, right? This thing is $160 and it's absolutely phenomenal. You can swap out op amps. You can make it look however you want. I think I'm gonna get my glass panel painted by my girlfriend. She's an artist, so yeah. I mean, the sky's the limit with this thing, and it's a really cool device, and I definitely recommend it. So thanks everyone for watching. This is my first review I've ever done, and yeah, Drumbo out. Peace.